This is the Whole Care Network. Helping you tell your story one podcast at a time. Content presented in the following podcast is for information purposes only. Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host and guest and may not represent the views and opinions of the Whole Care Network. Always consult with your physician for any medical advice, and always consult with your attorney for any legal advice. And thank you for listening to the Whole Care Network.
Hello, my friend. Welcome to A Time to Care the Caregivers podcast. I'm Isabel Melgarejo, your host. I'm delighted to have you here. Today, I'm just going to have a random conversation about something that I want to ask you. My ask for you today is, are you working and are you a caregiver? I want to hear from you. Let's get started. I honestly want to hear from you if you are working and you are a caregiver. And the reason I want to ask you for this is because I've been doing tons of research and I've been looking at the opportunities to help caregivers like yourself in a work environment. Many of us work full-time jobs, and when the caregiving responsibilities, even if it's for a child, for a spouse, for a parent, grandparent, anybody else, a brother, a sister, a nephew, a niece, uncles, aunts, there's so many people a neighbor, a friend. There's so many people we usually care for, and many times that we care that sometimes we just get overwhelmed. Statistics say that 20% of the workforce are caregivers. So chances are that if you're listening to this podcast, chances are that you are a caregiver and you are a worker as well. You work for somebody else. You wake up every morning and do a lot. You take care of someone, you go to work, and maybe you also take care of little ones. So I don't know your specific situations, but I do want to hear from you. And the reason why I want to hear from you is because caregivers in the workspace are usually ignored. And I want to listen of 100 people out there. I want to listen to their perspectives, their challenges, why it's so hard or what's working, what they would like to see changing, what their superpowers are. I want to listen why they wake up every day and they feel motivated to do everything all over again, why they decide to care for somebody else. And I want to hear what they would like to see in their workspace change. I would love to know if there's anything I can do for any of y'all. Because if we don't start those conversations, nobody else will. It's so hard. And many times we don't even speak up at work. I can honestly tell you several times that I've spoken my mind in work environments and that hasn't come out well for me. But I have never regretted saying and expressing what was wrong about a workspace. Many times people come around and see the reasons why I was saying something, and other times it doesn't work that way. But what I do know is that every time that I speak up, I know that I'm doing the right thing. I know that I'm letting somebody else know what's going on. And the more I study about diversity, equity, and inclusion is that, first of all, this side of the business and life is only focusing on race, ethnicity, and gender. Anything else, it's out of the equation. we don't focus enough on people in the spectrum. We don't focus enough on people with disabilities, even though it's sort of there, but there's not that much. We don't pay attention to different cultures. We don't pay attention to things that make us unique in our lives. And that is, as society, robbing us from a lot of knowledge in the first place. Imagine if you could understand what people are going through in other environments. What if you were to understand not everybody is the same? Not every person that we meet goes through the same things. We all have hobbies. We all have personal history, families that have marked us differently. When we don't open the conversation, we don't learn from each other. When we are afraid of speaking up and letting other people know our lives, we rob ourselves and everybody else from knowing us. And I get it. Sometimes we don't want to open up and tell everybody that we're going through tough times. I get it. We don't want to share our personal life with a lot of people. I'm a very private person. I don't like sharing a lot of the things with people out there. There are things that probably I will never share with anybody, and that's okay. You don't have to share absolutely everything with everybody. But if you want someone and if you want somebody else to give you what you need, I'm not talking about wanting, I'm actually talking about needing something. Needing something can be very different for everybody. But if you want support, if you want a work environment that is more supportive of your way of life, the only way that we're all going to learn about it is by you talking about what makes you so unique at work, what makes you shine at work, what is the best work environment for you, and then what are the challenges that you're going through, either work challenges or personal ones. And sometimes those challenges are just life. They're not something that is going to change so much, but it's just things that happen. About 10 years ago, we were running this project named Working Moms. It was in Spanish, Mamás Trabajando. So working moms. And the whole premise of this project was to give moms who had left the workforce to tend for their little ones and provide them the opportunity to go back to the working force without having the need to work full-time for an employer and have flexible hours and provide their expertise. So, for example, if a woman was a lawyer, a very successful one, and then she had gone pregnant and left the workforce to tend for her little one, and she would still have the knowledge of all the years that she was an attorney. She would still have all the knowledge and probably some time. And one of the people in this team, he was an attorney, he was running a firm, and he would always say, I would love to have this group of women coming my way, because there are times that we have a huge workload, and it would be cheaper for me and for everybody to have somebody else working as a freelance. And this happens in all work settings. This project was way before COVID, before working online was a thing, and before we knew that we could be productive working from home. And what I'm trying to say is that the same happens when we're caregivers. We sometimes have to quit. This is not good for anybody. This is not good for you if you have to quit because you're taking care of somebody else. Then you're losing your income, and you're losing your income, and probably when you come back to work, it's going to be harder for you to find the job that you had right now. And maybe it's not the case. Maybe you're going to go back and you're going to be refreshed and you're going to get an amazing job. In one way or another, what would happen if you would have more flexibility? What if the work environments that you're in would provide with flexibility that would fit your needs. Wouldn't that be fantastic? The same way as the premises of working moms, what if we created something like working caregivers? Wouldn't it be great if we could understand different perspectives and what is like being curious about how our lives are comprised on every single day? Because my caregiving journey is very, very different from yours. The only way for me to understand different perspectives is to talk with people like you, to understand what you're going through, what you would like to see, and which opportunities you would like to live, how you would like to see the world, and how you would like to see like your employer to provide to you. I would love to hear from you, honestly. So please grab a spot in my calendar and let's just get this conversation started, because that would be the biggest gift you could give for me. So go ahead, schedule that time, and let me know how the workforce can change your life forever. Talk to you soon.
This is the Whole Care Network. Helping you tell your story one podcast at a time.